Sundays have always been sacred to me. It gives me a chance to spend time with my family, with my friends, to focus on my faith. And honestly, We Rest on Sundays is a platform that I've created to help you navigate the complexities of the world. I want to spend time having open, honest dialogue with mentors, friends and family, and individuals that I truly believe are exceptional. We're going to focus on love, career, marriage, parenting, and everything in between. And the primary goal here is for us to become the better versions of ourselves every single day. I want to thank you for tuning in. I'll see you on Sunday. Rob, what's up, man? How are you?
What's up, man? How you doing? I'm good.
Doing well.
Doing well.
Man, good. I appreciate you just making the time, man. I've been extremely compelled just by like your journey, your story, your pursuit of basketball, XD1 basketball player. And honestly, like you were one of the primary coaches on Auburn's team last year that made it to the Final Four. Now you have an amazing opportunity to be the coach at Kennesaw State, which is phenomenal as well. And I met you through your wife, Christina, who is phenomenal. I had the pleasure of being able to interview her as well. And she's like, hey, I think that you should have a conversation with my husband, Rob. I think you'll like him. And then, of course, we meet and we have a lot of connections, man, and synergy. So, one, just I appreciate everything that you've already committed and done to help my platform and giving me your time to come and be a guest here, man. But in your own words, man, who's Coach Rob?
Oh, man. Coach Rob, Robert Allen Jr., named after my father, Robert Allen Sr., son of Dr. Geraldine Allen, God rest her soul, nurse practitioner, extraordinaire, councilwoman for the city of Selma before she passed, and over the graduate nursing program at Troy University. I just come from a great family. All my parents raised me well. Kid from Selma, Alabama. I always shouted out 2-7, Selma, Alabama. A lot of people, because of how things are going in the country now, just seeing kids, they don't know their Black history like they should. But I'm from a historic place, Selma, Alabama, as you know. One of the birthplaces of the Civil Rights Movement. So I grew up different, learning, the ins and outs of the civil rights, the Bloody Sundays, that happened, the commemoration of the Selma to Montgomery March with Martin Luther King, and just being a part, just seeing how many people pioneered for us to be to where we are right now, where we're doing this, interview. So it's a blessing. Just a kid from a small town, man, that had big dreams of playing professional basketball or baseball or football, whatever I could play. That's basically me. That's who I am.
Yeah, man, that's great. So tell me more, man, just about Selma. And you are an only child as well, right? So how was growing up in Selma, being an only child? Like, what did that look like for you?
It was, man, it's a very small town, so everybody knows everybody. So it's not too much that people don't know about you. But just being from there, man, it molded me to who I am today. Just being someone that has came from somewhere small to being somewhere big. Just being so tight-knit with my families and my friends in school. And it was my church home, Second Baptist Church in Selma, Alabama, and just being around all my families there, my cousins, my grandmother, my grandfather, my aunties, my uncles. Man, it was just a blessing just to be in that area. It was small, but we all knew that we could all depend on each other. Coming up, it wasn't spread out how it is in Atlanta or spread out how it is in Philadelphia or wherever else you go. It was everybody knew everybody would try to help everybody. So, growing up, being around my cousins who were big time athletes. My dad was a, good basketball player himself, as long as my uncle. But they played, they was less fortunate. I come from two parents that were, not as fortunate as other kids. So they built themselves to be. My dad's was an accountant, financial analyst. You know, he didn't have much growing up. Had to walk to school and, you know, take care of his siblings. And my mom, you know, she was the oldest of her brothers and sisters, and you know, they didn't have as much either. So, you know, for her being a nurse practitioner, being in school all her life, and you know, just seeing them to where they was, and I was fortunate to have both of my parents just be able to take care of me.
Yeah.
You know, I was fortunate than some other kids, but you know, they still grounded me. You know, they never gave me anything without working for it. So, just being in that atmosphere, man, and just the love of our city, man. Like we all love each other. I mean, of course, you have your people that don't, but at the same time, we all want to see each other do well. So that's basically it. Just coming
Yeah.
from self.
Yeah, it's good, man. And you mentioned as well that even though you were an only child, your parents really set a really high bar when it came to their expectations for you, both not just sports, but from an academic lens as well. Can you just share more about that impact and what that really, how that served you?
Yeah, I knew I couldn't, because the biggest thing for me, I wanted to play sports. I wanted to play my video games and stuff, but my mom and dad weren't playing that. They basically told me, you know, I had to keep maintaining a good grades through preschool, elementary school, middle school, high school. You know, my mom was both of them, because just like I said, they came from nothing. So they was gonna make sure that I did something with my life. They wasn't just giving me anything. They made sure I had to work for it. So, just reading every night, writing, just doing different things to, you know, be a good student. Like, cause that was my mom's biggest thing, is making sure that you was a good student before you was a good athlete. So my middle school year, I was a salutatorian in the 8th grade before I went to high school. So that was a big thing for her and my dad. So they made sure I had to do my work. And then in high school, I was top 10 in my class. And I also did dual enrollment. So my mom and dad had me doing all kinds of stuff. I took the ACT as a 7th grader.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have been taking the ACT. I took it all the way up to my senior year, because my mom wanted to get me acclimated. I took the SAT as well. I took the PSAT.
Wow,
Like I
yeah.
took every test.
Yeah.
My mom and dad had me take everything. So, just being an athlete as well, having to maintain, just be good in school, and being the only child. You know, I didn't have to share with a lot of people. So that was good in itself. It's a gift and a curse. I'm not gonna lie. I was very spoiled. So it's a gift and a curse, because you get what you want, but at the same time, sometimes you want to share it with someone.
Yeah.
So later on in life, I kind of was like, okay, I wish I would have had a sibling. But God didn't see fit for it. So, they raised me how they raised me, and I am where I am now because both of them.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's really great, and it's a good segue into sports. So you mentioned your father was a great basketball player. You ended up becoming a great basketball player. However, that hasn't always been a part of your journey, because you were cut from the 7th grade basketball team. So can you share how you went from being cut in 7th grade to then being a nationally ranked player coming out of high school, and then playing D1 basketball?
I grew up with my dad was he'll never say he was a great one. He's always modest, but I used to always hear stories about him. He was a street ball basketball player.
Got it.
Cause it's like they couldn't afford certain things, back then. So that's where they played street ball. Like they were legends where we from. They called my daddy May White. Still to this day I don't know why they call him that, but his favorite player was JoJo White. They played for the Boston Celtics. And I guess he used to wear some white shoes every time they played. So they were running courts back then. So he was the one to put the basketball in my hand. But like I said, I came from all my cousins that I'm close to. They were big time basketball players, like Doc Robinson. He was the number 2 point guard in the country behind Mike Bibby. at the time. So I got to grow up and watch him, you know, go through recruiting, playing collegiate basketball at Auburn University. He's like one of the only All-Americans at Auburn. And you know, eventually try to get to the NBA and play professionally overseas and things of that nature. So I was always with him and my other cousin, Kenny Allen, that, you know, he was a big time point guard, and like me and him, he's like 2 years older than me. We would travel the world to go play basketball everywhere. So just being around those guys was kind of like, and I ended up being the shortest of them all. So I had to work extra hard to be where I was. And I mean, just in the 7th grade, and shout out to Mr. Bolden, if you watching this. I got cut my first tryout, cause evidently I was short. Like I wasn't tall at all. So, and I don't think I had my best day, but what happened was the next day my mom took me. No, so the next, you know, you find out the next day when you get out of school, they put the list on the wall, and you looking, and I had never not made anything. Like I'm talking about through when I was like elementary, everything. I won all the awards. I would do a lot of things, and then all of a sudden I go up and look at the wall, and it's like, is that a typo? Like, I don't see my name.
Yeah.
And you know, my last name Allen, so it should be at the top. And I look, and I ain't see it, and then it really hit me like, wow, I didn't make it. And I remember like being upset, but you know, my mom and dad tried to tell me, well, you know, you gotta get back to work and this and that. And I wasn't trying to hear it at the time. And a couple of the 8th graders that I knew, Johnny Waters, it's another guy I forgot, just off my head, and they was like, bro, you ain't make the team? I was like, nah. I was like, nah, man, we gotta go talk to Mr. Bolden. So he was our shop teacher. So they went and vouched for me. And I went to his class the next day, and he said, I'm gonna give you one more chance. Like, you had a lot of people came and said, like, I should give you a chance, like, you good. The next day I went, showed out, put me on the team. And of course, because my mom was so involved in school, like she was PTA president, like my mom was in everything. So, you know, a lot of people like, well, they got him back on the team, blah, blah, blah. So that's how I started to see, like, you know, people started talking about politics.
Yeah.
And, you know, my mom didn't do it, but at the same time, it was out there that she did. So I ran with it, and, you know, played well, and, you know, and I had my ebbs and flows through high school. Like, even, I'll never forget, you know, my mom, she like her and my dad, like, they really invested in me. You know, we had our own AAU team. She built it, her and my dad, like, with the local kids around town, and I mean, we took some beatings, but you know, it showed me, and I would say to this day, like, it showed me that I just wasn't, and I try to tell people now, if you are the big fish in your pond, you need to find another one. And like, that's what it did for us as a whole. Like, we saw it was guys, and cause we was always good where we were from. But we saw guys that were good from LA, good from Florida, good from Carolina, good from Ohio. Like, so we were seeing all these guys, and we were getting our brains beat out. And I'll never forget my one summer, we played here in Atlanta, and we played against the Atlanta Celtics, who's a big time AAU program still today. And it was Wallace Prather was over it, Mr. Wallace Prather. And my mom had a good relationship with him. And he had us in his tournament, and we played the Celtics. And I'll never forget, it was a little guard, I don't know his name. And like, he destroyed me, like, bad. Like, it's like that whole summer I was getting destroyed. Like, and my coach, and I had to thank him, Velvet Robinson, and he basically, like, after the season was over, I probably say one guy off my team who was my cousin, he probably, Miguel Harris, he probably was the only one that played well, but none of us did. And he literally, that's when I learned constructive criticism. And he basically told me like, man, you too short to be, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this. You'll never play Division I basketball. Like, you'll never play anywhere. Like, you never. And my dad, and I had to, my dad was always hard on me. And, sometimes as kids, and I see it now, it takes a lot for us to listen to our parents. We have to hear it from somebody else for us to change. And when he told me that day, I changed my whole demeanor, my whole workout regimen, my everything, because I was gonna make sure that, because I would venture to say I was a better baseball player, but I wanted to play basketball because everybody told me I couldn't, and I was too small. So my whole mindset was, okay, I'm gonna make all y'all regret what y'all said. So now I'm gonna do this each and every day to get to where I want to go. And, God blessed me with an opportunity to be able to play Division I as small as I was. So it just lit a fire in me, and I appreciate all the people that, helped me get to where I was, even if I liked it or I didn't. So
Yeah, man. I think to me that's a really powerful part of your journey because you were what 5'7" in high school playing basketball,
140
right?
pounds.
And you
Yeah.
have coaches telling you like you'll never play D1 basketball. You have
Bro.
probably family members doubting you. Really, everybody. Like, how did you really just change your mindset to like, no, I'll prove you wrong. Like, and I'm going to play D1. And then also, where did you end up playing?
Yeah. So it was it was just something that was built in me. Like, I used to see my mom, like, my mom went through, she did a lot. Like, having to go to, me as a little kid, having to go to the library and see her, having to pick out books for her and seeing her determination. And like, she always said, I'm gonna get this nurse practitioner, I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna get it. And people was telling her, well, you might not be able to or whatever. And, my dad too, like, just seeing both of them have determination, it kind of spilled into me. And then being around so many people, like in my family, that were like just determined. So I was like, okay, if they can be determined, I definitely can. I got tired of the jokes. Like, you too small, you can't do this, you can't do this. Either I can shoot or I can't do this. Either I can do this or I can't do this. So it just was a motivating factor. And I love what I was doing. Like, nobody had to tell me, like, literally. I knew I had a schedule every day. Like, as I got older and I got to high school and I was able to drive, it was over then. Like, I would get up in the morning, go work out, do what I need, especially the summertime, because that's when you get better in the off season. I would go to the gym at 7 in the morning, work out, shoot with my friends. Then we would come back, like, we would stay at the gym all day. Go to church, chicken, go out to church to get us something to eat, swim. I'm right back in the gym, working out again. At night, the older guys would come, play with them, go to the track at night. I had some jump soles, I don't know if you remember.
Yeah,
I had jump soles. I would run 100-yard sprints
in them.
in them, and then I would run the stadium stairs at Memorial Stadium itself. I would run the whole stairs. I would do that 4 to 5 times a week. And I played basketball every day. Like, on a Saturday, I'd go to the YMCA, play pickup with the older guys, and then Sundays, we'll go to church, and then me and my cousin would drive around. We'll go play outside against other people in different sections of the city. So I love what I was doing. Like, you couldn't tell me. Like, I just loved it. Nobody had to tell me to get up in the morning. Nobody had to tell me to go do anything. I just went and did it. So it was already the determination in me. And I'll never forget, I got my first letter, collegiate letter, on September 11th, 2001.
Wow.
Yeah, I got my first letter. My mom didn't go to work that day because our air conditioner broke. So she had to wait till the air conditioner people came. And I remember going to school that day and like it just being a different day. And, you know, us from, you know, where we're from, like I was fortunate to travel with my parents, but I never knew what the trade center,
Yeah.
I never knew what the towers and nothing like that. I didn't know what it was. And I'll never forget one of my classmates came in the class and told our teacher, was like, hey, Ms. Barnes, a plane just went to the trade center, and she was hysterical. We was like, why she so hysterical? And I just never forget that day, like just seeing that, and then, you know, being at school today, and then, you know, us as kids, we not really like, oh, okay, that happened. Like, you don't know the magnitude. And I remember going home and just going to, I would go to the mailbox. I went to the mailbox and I had 2 letters, one from Temple University and one from Colgate University.
Wow.
And it was ended up being a great day because I got a letter saying somebody like really recruit me, but also it was, once I learned the magnitude of the day,
Yep.
it kind of changed. So I always love watching Temple University. Like I used to watch Lynn Greer. He was like one of my favorite players at Temple. So I was like, you know, if I get the opportunity, I might, you know, try to go. Cause you know, I knew about Alabama, University of Alabama. I knew about Auburn because my cousin played there. I knew about UAB. So I knew about all the home schools. And the one school the 2 schools that I really liked was Temple University, and I really love Florida, University of Florida. And one of my coaching buddies, he coaches with us at Kennesaw as well. Chuck Davis was at my rival school, Southside. So we used to get the opportunity because he got recruited before me. We would go to the junior college at Wallace and Selman and play pickup. So a lot of collegiate coaches would come over to watch him play. So, you know, since I was getting recruited too, I would go over there and play too. So we would play against like the junior college guys. And I'll never forget, because Florida, I used to love Teddy Dupay, Brandon Nelson, Mike Millers. I just used to love Florida. And I heard they had told me they was coming to watch him play pickup. So I made sure I went, and I remember John Pelfrey. He was the assistant coach, and Billy Donovan was the head coach then. And like I probably had my best day there, but I never got the offer. So it was kind of like, okay, now I need to start thinking about other places. And once I got that letter from Temple, it was kind of like, okay, like I'm dead set. Like I think this might where I want to go. And you know, John Chaney gave me the opportunity to come there. And after that, it was just all she wrote. You know, just being able to go to a kid from Selma, Alabama, being able to go to Temple University, and you know, that's how, you know, I got there. So
Yeah, it's amazing, man. And even hearing you explain basketball and your journey is very clear. You're also like a basketball history buff, right? And like it shows the level of like commitment that you have towards the game and like your excitement towards it as well. But I do know that unfortunately that injuries while in college really derailed your career.
yeah.
So how did you pivot from really your entire life being this athlete, this high level athlete to all right, I got to switch and like really start figuring out what's going to be the next chapter in my life.
Yeah, it was difficult. And then also, you know, you go into school and like you start to see like you're not just the only good one. You know, like you got aspirations of being an NBA player, but you playing with NBA players each and every day. And it's a grind, and it's a, you know, I stayed at Temple 2 years, and then I transferred to Troy University when my mom was over a nurse practitioner. And like, I tore my hamstring. And that was my first ever injury. Cause I used to just get out of bed and just play. No stretching or anything. You know, nowadays, like kids have people that stretch them out. They have all kind of, like I tell them now, like y'all so blessed, we ain't have none of this stuff.
Yeah.
And when I got hurt for the first time, I had to have surgery for the first time, and then my injuries just piled on that, tore my ACL. And then you had to start thinking about, okay, what I'm gonna do after this. You don't know. But that's why my mom and dad always instilled in me, because I never knew what I wanted to study in. And I knew I didn't want to be a doctor. I don't like blood. I don't like none of that type stuff. And I knew I didn't want to. At the time, I didn't want to be an accountant. But then my dad was just on me like, listen, if you be an accountant, you count your own money. You don't have to have anybody to tell you what to do, different things of that nature. So like in school, even another reason I picked Temple was because they had a top 5 business school. So I was looking at it from, okay, so where can I go? And then eventually, man, like I took on accounting as a major, and I did, and it was hard. Being hurt, then being an accounting major and being an athlete at the same time. Like it was a lot. Because I was able to see like how sometimes kids get caught in just, some people just want you to be eligible.
Yeah.
So they'll just give you a certain degree, not knowing that once you're done, if you don't continue to play, you won't be able to get a good job. So I wasn't gonna be that type of person. So once I understood, like, you know what, I might not play in the NBA at all. I said, okay, let me kind of focus what I'm gonna do, and well, I got my degree in accounting, and then the next part of my life started right after that. So.
And you started your career in accounting after undergrad, and I can only imagine, man. So how did that go, and how did that feel for you, knowing that like you really just truly love the game, basketball?
So, my life changed in 2007, I would say. I met my kid's mother, and we met at a gym, which is crazy. We met at a gym, and she was a LPN at the time, and she was with me throughout my senior year of college, and then I decided to. I got my degree. Then we decided to get married like right after I got my degree.
Wow.
So I'm straight out of college, married, and then a year later, she had my first daughter, Hannah. And I still remember to this day, I came out of school at the wrong time. I came out during the recession.
Yeah.
So I came out during the recession. I didn't have, and the thing that hurt me too was because I played basketball so much, because I did get a stint playing professionally before I went into being an accountant. After that was over and I didn't want to do the basketball anymore, like just getting up, training and stuff, like I was done. I didn't want to do it anymore. So after that part, I didn't do any internships while I was in college. I did one internship, and it really was because of a family friend.
Yeah.
But I didn't get that part because I was always busy training, getting ready for the next season, like just making sure I was ready for the next season. So it was kind of hard for me. I had a 3.0, had an accounting degree, and no jobs was open. So by the grace of God, my uncle, my mother's brother, Anthony Williams, he worked, because we didn't know where we wanted to move when I got out of school, and I had family up here, so they was like, just come here, and I didn't. I wanted to go to Florida, but I didn't have any family, so he was like, man, if you come up here, I can get you a job at where I work at, but it doesn't have anything to do with accounting. It's configuring routers. Like routers you have for the.
Yep.
So I was like, cool. It was $16 an hour, but he was like, your hours are gonna be like from 12 to 9 o'clock at night. So basically, I usually play basketball during the evening time, so I had to get rid of that to go do that. So I had to provide. We had my daughter, and I had to provide. So I did that for almost 8 months, still putting in accounting applications every day on Career Builder, Indeed. It used to, I forgot the name of someone, going to the unemployment office.
Wow.
Like the labor office. It was like right around the corner from I stayed in Marietta. So I would go over there off of Shanty Road, and like back then, it was lines of people out trying to get jobs.
Because where the economy
Yes,
was.
because the economy was so bad. So, like, I'm putting in stuff every day. I'm getting discouraged. I'm like, why did I even go to school?
Right.
Like, why? Like, I'm not getting a job or anything. And fortunately, I ended up at this place called Oxford Industries. They own Tommy Bahama clothing. I got an interview with them, and I thought it went well. And like a week later, they called me and hired me, so I didn't have to configure routers anymore. So I got my first job in 2008 here in Atlanta, downtown Atlanta. So I didn't really know about the traffic for real. So then I had to navigate that, working from 7 to 4 each and every day, and that helped me because I had got fat, like extremely big, because I was just eating all the time, wasn't able to work out. So then I was able to go back to the gym, like after 4 to play pickup with guys and stuff of that nature. And then I worked there for, I wouldn't even say 8 months. And I get a call, I was sick. I got a call from my controller. And I was telling her, like, I was sick, I can't come. She was like, okay, that's cool. She was like, but you don't need to come back. I was like, huh? They had, because the economy was so bad, the people that they had just hired, they laid off.
Wow.
And then some of the older people that had been there tenured, they laid them off.
Wow.
So they gave me a severance package, which I didn't know what that was at all either. And they was like, this is what we're going to give you. And then I didn't know they taxed the money.
Yeah.
When I got the money, got taxed, and I called, I was like, what's going on? They just told me so. I went, and by the grace of God, I got with an agency, a talent agency. They found me a job right around the corner from where I was. And I worked for a company called Bearing Point. So I was an auditor there. And I audited for like 6 or 7 months. And one day on my lunch break, I was looking at Yahoo, and Yahoo had the top 10 companies that won't make it past the year. I'm just scrolling down, and guess who was the last company?
Bearing Point.
So now I'm I'm in it, but I'm just losing jobs, and like it's becoming overwhelming now, and I'm just like, okay, I went to school this long, and now the economy's so bad I can't get a job, and on my last day of work, that's when my life changed again. I found out my mom called me and told me she was terminally ill with cancer. So it all changed, and it was crazy, I hadn't even started doing anything in basketball at the time yet. So
Yeah. And I know that you were very close to your mom, and she was a staple in your life, in your upbringing. And I know that you also unfortunately lost her at the age of 25. Do you mind just sharing more about, like, what did that literally do to your mental state? You graduated during the recession. You weren't doing a job that you did not want to do for 9 months, and you finally get the job that you thought that you wanted to do as an accountant. And 8 months later, after that, you're let go again because of the economy. Age of 25, you lose your mom. Where are you?
Like, it's crazy. The last day of my work was the day she called me and told me she was terminally ill, and they gave her a year to live.
Wow.
So, me being the only child, I don't have anybody to lean on, and, being a mama's boy, which I will definitely say, I love my dad to death, but just being with my mom, like, we talk every day, like 3-4 times a day. And that, like, seeing somebody that you love deteriorate in front of your eyes. And I would say she lived a little longer than a year because, her and my dad were fortunate to make some money. So she would go to MD Anderson in Houston. So she would fly to Houston like every other week to go get chemo treatments. And she was still working though.
Wow.
Like, working. And a lot of people, she didn't tell anybody at her job.
Wow.
So she was still working, and, like, painting, and, like, it was so bad, like, I literally didn't want to talk to her on the phone because I could hear the pain in her, and I didn't want to listen. But, you know, she was the type of person that was a risk. Like my mom don't play it. Like she was like, listen, bro, I'm only gonna be here for this long. And I had my daughter, so that was something that kept her going. My oldest Hannah, and like she would take her everywhere and be with her. So that gave her like the will to continue to live. And it was just, you know, it opened my eyes though. Like I'll never forget the last time she went to Houston, I went. Cause I hadn't been, my dad couldn't go with her. So he asked me could I go. So I went, and to see like, and that kind of made me be grateful for my life. To see like kids and just like all sorts of people, like just different nationalities. Like a lot of these people have cancer and they're deteriorating before their family eyes. And just to see, I never forget I had a kid. I was with my mom, she was finna get an x-ray, and this kid just came and talked to me, and we talked about football, because I know a lot about football. We talked about college football. He told me he was an Oklahoma fan, and we had a talk. Didn't even know the kid was like terminally ill. And the mom talked to my mom and told her to tell me thank you for lighting her son day up, because he didn't know how long he was gonna live. And like just to see those people there, like fighting each and every day, and I was just like, you know what? If they can fight, I can do the same thing. So just seeing her, you know, that's all that was my mom, and I had my daughter. So when she passed, it was different because I actually had someone. You know, I think if I was by myself, it would have been a lot more harder, but I still had my wife at the time, I had my daughter. So that was kind of easy,
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't, but it still had, but then I had to focus on my dad because he was by himself.
Yeah.
So it changed. It definitely changed me, and it gave me a different perspective on life. Like, you just never know. You know, she died when she was 52. So she, like, thank God she got to see me walk down the aisle one time. She got to see her oldest. She didn't get to see my youngest. But, she was always telling me, like, she was a realist. Like, she was like, listen, I'm not going to be here, but so you take care of your family, take care of my grandbaby, take care of your dad, and make sure you be successful. So, I mean, every day, like, I wear her strength and courage in my heart every day. So, it's it get rough sometimes, because you still think, like, Mother's Day are very hard. But as I got older and older, I started being more, it never leaves you, but it's still there. But, and I try to tell people who lost, parents or anything, like, just remember how they wanted you to act, like how, they're still proud of you, but make sure you continue that legacy on. And that's what I do each and every day. So, and then a lot of people like, man, I see like people that know me and they know my mom, and they're just like, they see the same grit and everything. So
Yeah, man.
yeah.
It's good, man. And I know that she's, definitely has to be proud of like the accomplishments that you've already been able to achieve, in your career and navigating a ton of hurdles, man. And you've also navigated another hurdle. You continue to reference your first wife. So I know again that like you and your first wife didn't work out. Can you share more just on that journey and how you're able to navigate that and then also like rebound within your career after that?
Yeah, it was so, we lasted for 10 years. We had two beautiful daughters. So it was different because I was just so used to being with somebody each and every day and with my kids every day for that to leave. She Princess, that's her name. We're good now. But I learned a lot because we both did. We both got married when we were young. We was 22.
Yeah, wow.
So as I got older, like I didn't know, and I think we both didn't, like needs change as you get older. And then I think too, we weren't on the same page as far as like, I wanted to do this, she wanted to do this. And then I would tell you too, like I learned a lot about myself. I learned that, cause when it comes to a divorce, I always tell people all the time, like it's never just that person's fault. You have some part in it as well. And I learned like at one time I was selfish. And what I mean by that is not like in terms of, just doing what I wanted. It was when I started training, because that's when I started training when we were together, I was like just trying to go get it, go get it, go get it. And you as a provider and a man, you like, listen, I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do to make sure everybody's straight. But not knowing you're neglecting at home. You're having her, cook, clean, make sure the kids get to school. Like I was literally gone at 5 in the morning. I wouldn't come back to 9 to 10 o'clock at night. And that's because I was doing my 9 to 5 and I was training guys at the same time. So, I at that time it was just like, nah, just bear with me and I would do. And then, I learned like, she was like, I just need you home just a little bit, like to help. And, as we got older, we started to change and, it didn't work out. But the good thing was we always remained cordial because we had 2 girls. We had 2 daughters. So the hardest thing for me is when we did divorce, it wasn't like it was needed, but also I had to change my mentality from seeing my kids each and every day to not seeing them to every other weekend. And then they eventually moved back to Alabama. So I was here by myself and like it was nice when it was hard. Like I didn't get to see my kids, didn't get to talk to them, because at that time, they didn't have their own phones. I have to call, and then they stay in the country, so the signals are different. But, I had to give her props too, because she did she does a good job with the kids. And just like I said, man, we co-parent well. So at the end of the day, when you do get divorced, I think the biggest thing is just making sure the kids are cool. So, we cool to this day, and it just wasn't meant. Like, it just wasn't meant for us to keep going, and it made me a better person. Like, it taught me a lot about myself, so I always vowed I would get married again. I just didn't know when, but it showed me too, like, okay, I know what not to do next time.
Yeah.
So, just like I said, like I appreciate her for the 10 years. We had good times and bad as everybody does, but at the same time, we was able to just say, hey, we gotta get these kids through. We gotta make sure they're good, and at the end of the day, that's all that matters. So each of our kids got 4 parents. They got, she's married, and I'm married as well, so, they have best of both worlds, so.
Man, Rob, I appreciate you sharing and opening up on that more than you know, just because I think that like the way that you shared that part of your story and your journey and like the interpersonal reflection, you know what I'm saying? On like, hey, I wasn't perfect, you know what I'm saying? She wasn't perfect, but like these are the faults that like I matured through, what I learned through, what I was able to grow through, I think is monumental, man. And the reason why I think it hits home to me is because like I have some people close to me that are navigating divorces now. And as you know, divorces aren't fun. Aren't.
And they expensive too.
Yeah, man. Yes, man. You know what I'm saying? And then even when you're just like the family member, like you're emotionally it tied into like to their situation.
For sure.
And all you want at the end of the day is exactly what you just shared. Is like for me, selfishly, for my people, is like I want it to be peaceful at the end. I want them to be able to rebalance and co-parent well. And I want the kids to come out of this hopefully as unscathed as possible. You know what I'm saying? And hearing the way that you rounded out your journey, it's like, that's exactly what it sounds like. And that's phenomenal, man. Off camera, you told me, you just, hopefully I can share it, but I'll cut it if not. But like, you drove to Alabama yesterday just to take your daughter on a date, like, and that's like, again, like, to me, it's very encouraging and inspiring because it's like, yes, you got divorced. Yes, you got remarried, but like you are still a very active and extremely present father, and That's what really matters, man. So thank you for that. It's really dope, man. But let's talk about training, man, because you have trained and continue to train at the highest level. NBA players, collegiate athletes, high school players. But I know that you got your start. You started really with one kid in LA Fitness. Take me through that journey and like how you're able to scale this thing now. I just saw a clip, I think last night, maybe this morning, of one of your guys that was in the G League that just signed, I think he signed with a team.
JD Davidson.
Yeah, you know, and I'm like watching you work him out in the gym, and I'm like, to you it's probably just regular. To me, it's like extremely impressive to like watch it and to see it and consume it as well. But tell me about your training journey, man, and how you got going.
So, I started working at a place called Crawford and Company, and I was an accountant there, and it's funny. I used to literally just sit at my desk all day, and that's when Instagram became like a big thing, social media. And I used to watch it, and I used to see guys like teaching guys how to play basketball, which I was like, okay. And my supervisor, Raquel Freeman Brown, that's my lady there. I never forget, like I would like tell her, like, I don't know how much longer we'll be here. Like, I just started seeing people doing stuff that I actually like. And, you know, she was a good supervisor. She would let me get time off and do things of that nature. And I was just like, man, so I decided to, you know, help kids back in my area in Marietta. And I was like, man, I want to help AAU teams. So I reached out to all the AAU teams here in Atlanta, Georgia Stars, Atlanta Celtics. It was Southern Stampede at the time. Just hitting guys and it's like, listen, if you have an opening for a coach, I would love to do it. Like, I just want to get back. And at that time, nobody hit me. So I hit this coach. He was over the Cobb Purple Knights. His name was James Williams. He's the coach at, I forgot, he's a collegiate coach now at a HBCU in South Carolina, Voorhees.
Okay.
So he's coaching Voorhees now. And I was like, listen, he called me back. He's like, listen, man, I got a team of 7th graders. He was like, they're not the greatest group, but, you know, they're going to work hard and do whatever. I was like, man, I don't really care. I just want to get back. So I helped these guys, and it's so funny how small the basketball world is. And I would never forget, like, they would, like, I would, you know, teach the guys different things, and I'll never forget they played in a tournament against a team called the Heat Check. And my guy is over the Heat Check. You know, we ended up becoming like we best buddies now. I didn't know him at the time. And they was like some of the tallest, biggest kids in like 7th graders I ever seen. And like that team that I had, they had literally lost by 60 the first time they played them. And the parents were so scared for the kids to play again. So the next time we played, we lost by like 30. So I shaved off 30 points. But just getting to see them and you know, just seeing them ebbs and flows. So I was back to like playing a lot. So I would be at LA Fitness playing against like guys each and every day, hooping. And it was one kid named Ricky Sherman. And he was a little white kid, Caucasian kid, and he hits me, called me out the blue one day. He was like, yo, Coach Rob. He gave me my name, Coach Rob. And he was like, hey, I want to ask you a question. I said, what's going on? He was like, would you train me? And I didn't know what that was. You know, I just seen people teaching basketball, but he was like, I said, what is that, man? He was like, I just want you to show the stuff that you do and I see you in the gym. Can you teach me that? I was like, okay. And then he was like, well, if you do it, my dad said he'll pay you. So I said, he's gonna pay me? Mm-hmm. And you gotta remember at that time, like my daughter she was still in diapers. So I was like, okay, you know, diapers not cheap. So I was like, sure. So went to Wade Green LA Fitness in Kennesaw, Georgia. And literally, like every day, except for Sundays. We did something every day, and I would give him goals. He was there every day, on time, didn't have a problem, and it was just him for a whole year.
Wow.
And like people would look inside, if you've been to LA Fitness,
Yep.
you go through the glass and see I wasn't like really caring, like I wasn't caring about other clientele or nothing like that. I was just working him out. And I used to give him goals, like, like you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this. And then I saw determination that I had in him. So that what made it fun.
Yep.
So, I was training him, and then that's when other people started seeing it in the gym. So then they was like, hey, can you, another one of my friends, his name is Knock. He had a brother, and now Knock is like one of the best speed and conditioning trainers in the world. So I had his brother, and then like people just started seeing me and was like, yo, like seeing me in gyms and stuff like that. And it just, I was like, okay, I'm pretty good at this. Like I'm starting to see, and I started seeing them getting better. So I was like, I'm getting pretty good at this. So then I was like, okay, you know, I might can make this a career, and then I started reaching out to bigger AAU teams, and then that's when I got my first opportunity with the Stampede. And I wanted to help Ricky because I knew how it was. If you don't get exposure, you can't get help. So Al Durham, who was over the Southern Stampede at the time, he allowed me to coach his 15U team. So I did it for Ricky. I didn't do it for myself, I did it for him. But then I added some more players like Michael Kinsey, Austin Dukes. Those were my three best players. And like I would train them, and then and like they got so much better. And then I knew when people tried to take them off my team, I knew I was doing a good job. And after then, that's when God started, like the dots started connecting. Then I just started meeting different people, like on each and every level. And then that's when, I don't know if you're gonna ask me about it, that's when I really started to delve into social media.
Mm-hmm.
Like it was a reason for that. I needed a haircut and in Georgia, and that's when I really was on Instagram, and I was on the Explore page. So I see a haircut go by, and I'm like, oh, I gotta get this cut by this guy. And I DM'd the guy, and I was like, yo, how can I get a haircut? He was like, he sent me information, went, and when I got there, it was 15 people waiting to get a haircut.
Wow.
About 10, 15. So he was like, yo, you can come back at this time. Come back. And I got in the chair, started cutting my hair. He was like, very personable dude. And he was like, man, what you do? I didn't want to sound corny. I was like, hey, I'm a basketball trainer. I didn't want to tell him I was an accountant. He was like, okay, cool. He's like, do you have, you got any, how you just said, you seen me training somebody. He was like, do you got any video? I was like, nah. He was like, what you mean you ain't got no video? I was like, nah. I was like, I believe that I didn't want to show my stuff on social media because I felt like somebody would take my drills. Mm-hmm. And he basically told me like, and he changed his name is Dre the Barber. He's in Atlanta. And he literally told me like, listen, man, it changed my whole perspective. He's like, don't you think that everybody can do a temp fade? They could take a picture of a temp fade. They could take a picture of a shadow fade or whatever. He said, I just believe I'm the best. Mm. And I don't believe, like, my look is my look. Like, they can try to steal it, but they can't steal the sauce. Like, they can't steal it. They can't steal it. So just be who you are. Don't worry about if they try to take it or not. And I was like, okay. And that's when I started social media. And then once I did that, man, like stuff started opening up for me. I started meeting different people, just in this basketball arena, and it just, took off after that.
Yeah, man, and you've scaled it, man. Because are you above 40K right now?
55.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how quickly was it? Just And what was, I mean, not to, give all your secrets, but whatever you're comfortable sharing is like, was it literally just like you in the lab and recording and
Yeah, so what happened was I got with a person. So I did, you know how we all research. So I was just looking at like, okay, now I'm in this space. Now I need to see people who are successful. And I'll never forget, I seen a guy on Instagram by the name of Swain. Swain, it was Swain Basketball, Robert Swain. And I hit him up and I was just like, yo, I like what you're doing. Like, I was like, man, I maybe want to come do some stuff with you. He was like, man, come on over and do it with me. And we talked and he had me like, help him with what he had going on. And like, and cause he had like big time players. So, I just wanted to kind of understand the business. And then and I'm the type of person, I don't have an ego. So when I say that, like I work with anybody to build anything. So I started working with him for a while, but then like I would see how, he ran a business. Like he was running it, like he had kids, he had high school, he had college, he had all these guys, and everybody gravitated to him because of the person he was and how he did things. And, I enjoyed it, like working, but it came too strenuous for me off the court because I still was, it was in Decatur. I'm in Dallas, Georgia.
yeah.
So it became hard, so I couldn't work. But he was one of the people, like Swain, and I got to shout him out too. He was one of the people that kind of was like, Rob, you don't need me, bro. You is good. You good by yourself. Now, if you want to help me, that's fine, but you don't have to. So that kind of was like just hearing from different other people, like about, where I was. And then I started to see like in Atlanta, Georgia, just a kid from Alabama, that if you had that one player that everybody in Atlanta that looked up to, or the top player in the state or whatever, or in the city, I would say the city, not the state, a lot of people would like gravitate to you. So my brother, I call him my brother even though I don't have siblings, Dontre McCain, he started his own media company. So back in the day, I used to record all my videos myself. And what I would do, I tried to like be a little different from everybody. I tried, because Instagram back in the day, you only had like 30 seconds. Even if that, I think it was like 15 at first. So I would try to get a couple clips and I would put music behind it. And I would put like the updated songs, or I would go to mixtapes and get certain songs, because I knew in my avenue, a lot of people like music. So, then it was like the Migos and all these other people. So what I would do was take those songs and put them on my clips. And I would go to mixtapes to get them because they weren't mainstream songs. And then people would be like, and so I would have basketball people look at it, and then I have music people look at it. And they would say, where you get that song from? Or kids would be like, where that song come from? And then I would gravitate them to my page. So after a while, man, like I got a videographer at one time that Ricky referred me to. I was paying $150 for a 30-second video.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I was just like, bro, I can't keep paying this.
Yeah.
So then I was like, man, I started praying. I was like, God, can you just send me somebody like that can like help me? And Dontre, I coached his little cousin on my AAU team. So he started his own media company. And he was like, man, just give me an opportunity. Like, will you give me an opportunity? And he'll tell you the story. I did not. I kind of shunned him 3 times. But then he did a video with a player that I was training. And I reposted it. And he was like, yo, this is me. This is my video. And I said, so we had a talk. And I was like, listen, bro, like, I think we can help each other. I was like, I can get access to players that's gonna help your business out, and then you gonna help me as well. So we got on the same page, and like when I tell you, like we grinded, like you know, but I was also getting the players because, you know, I started getting being better, and then I started meeting people. So I started working people out for all the top AAU programs and this and that. And the thing that changed me was I ended up getting a player, um, Chris Williams. He's over the Hoops Give, Holiday Hoops Give. It's one of the biggest tournaments here in Georgia. I mean, in the country now. High school, and now it's like, now he has a college event. And he was coaching the Georgia Stars, and he had the #1 team in the country, 9th grade team in the country. And I was fortunate enough to train his best player, his point guard, Ashton Hagens. And when I trained him, that's when my trajectory went up. And I would have Trey do videos for me. So every time we did a workout, Trey would cut a video. And we worked so well together. I would tell him the song, and he'll put it on there. And that's how it started getting bigger. And then, you know, Ashton started posting on his page. And then that's when stuff started to get up for me, so.
Yeah, man, it's really cool, man, and it's cool that y'all worked out that partnership together. And one of the quotes that you've shared with me that you said is really like a principle that you live by is that you must be a servant first, right? Can you share more about, like, what does that really mean to you?
It means a lot, cause you just never know who can help you. And don't be so full of yourself that you don't need other people to help you, or you can learn from somebody else. You know, once I got into that space of training like Ashton, and he started getting recruited by all these top schools in the country, and I started making my own connections. And like I try to tell people, man, like when people put you in certain areas, like his dad, Marvin Hagens, like he was a good dude. Like he, you know, he would always have me around, hey, this school coming, hey, this people coming. So what I started doing was making my own connections. I started talking to all these top coaches. So basically a lot of these coaches you see on a regular day basis right now, I have their numbers in my phone. I can reach out to them. You know, just meeting all the top Calipari's, Coach K's, the Bruce Pearls, the Nate Oates, just all these guys, Jerome Tang at Kansas State. Like I was just meeting so many guys because they were recruiting him. Buzz Williams from Maryland. And I would make my own, you know, I would talk to their assistant coaches and like just get a relationship with them. And then that's when I started understanding the business of agencies, like meeting agents from CAA, Wasserman, and different ones. But I was able to meet Coach Rob Eason. He was at UAB at the time, and he had an agent buddy. And I know he don't like being called out, but a guy named Joe Smith that I met, he was from Birmingham, Alabama, and he works for Wasserman, which is one of the biggest agencies in the world. And you know, they have a lot of the top guys because I always said I wanted to work in the NBA. So I didn't just want to train high school and college guys. I wanted to train the top level guys. So they would have all their guys come to LA. And I was like, yo, do you mind if I come out there to help? You know, whatever y'all need me to do, I help. And that was like right after my divorce. So I flew on my own dime, bought my own hotel, bought my own rental car. And I would go in there and that's when I started getting in around. I met Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, DeAndre Hunter, Isaiah Harrison, that played, just won a championship with the OKC Thunder. Like, I was meeting all these guys, and you know, I took one of my kids with me out there with me to go work out with the guys, and I was just out there rebounding and passing. And the guy that was over all the workouts were Olin Simplest. He's called the guard whisperer. And he was like, I call him like my OG. And, you know, I would be in the gym with them. And I never went in with an ego. I knew how good I was, but I made sure I was on time. I made sure I was listening. I made sure, like, they need me to do something, I did something. And then they started letting me do more. Like, yo, we're going to let you do this. When you paid, which I was cool with. I didn't care because it put me in a realm that I haven't been in. And, you know, I was able to take pictures, take videos, and do things. And, those guys helped me as well. So, like I try to tell people, like being a servant, it was like to get where you trying to go, sometimes you have to do stuff that you really don't want to do. And I just like I said, I don't have an ego. So, if I had to go out there on my own down just to, be seen or just be able to and get relationships with people, because you never know who could help you down the line. And, I still have a great relationship with them now where I'm able to work some of their guys out, or, different agencies. Like I just network myself and coaches and everybody. So it was just, man, whatever you need me to do, because I learned, because now I do pre-draft. I was learning pre-draft and stuff out there. So I was able to take a lot of stuff that I learned, and then I am who I am. So I put my own, I started to learn different things. So it's just about just sometimes you're not gonna get paid. Uh, like I could tell you stories where I've had top level guys and they just felt like they, at that time, they didn't have to pay me.
Yeah.
But I would say, hey, if you're not gonna pay me, then I'm gonna record you. Because at the end of the day, I know a lot of people say some people like to do things in the dark. We're in a different world now. It's if I don't, it's out of sight, out of mind. If they don't see you, they don't know what happened. So I had to learn that for myself. So it was just about me just I wanted to be somewhere. I wanted to work with the top level guys. So whatever I had to do, be a servant, and I did what I was supposed to do. I was professional, different things of that nature. And, now I'm able to say, I'm able to work with people. So I always, like, I have guys that intern with me. So, I try to tell them, like, and I also try to promote them too. Like, get your own pictures, like, get personable with these guys. You never know, they might need you. Like, I probably won't be available. They might be able to work with you. So it's always about helping. But at the same time, you got to help yourself.
Yeah. It's good, man. It's really good. Couple more quick questions for you, man.
For sure.
And I appreciate it more than you know, because these are a lot of good jewels that I think that people will need to consume, and I think it's going to help people just navigate like their own personal journeys as well, especially ex-athletes that are, trying to figure out what's next on their end as well. But for you, we talked through, you coached AAU, coached middle school, high school, high level, NBA, coached. Helped coach a team to the Final Four last year. But up next for you is Kennesaw State.
Yeah.
Why Kennesaw State?
Can I go back to Auburn, though?
Of course.
If you don't mind. And just like I said, man, being a servant, like, throughout the years, like, I've had a relationship with the staff. Bruce Pearl and Stephen Pearl, and, they recruited some of my players, and, Ira Bowman as well, and, Marquise Daniels played with my cousin at Auburn. So Mike Burgermeister, like all the guys, Maddox Jeffers, Ian Borders, Corey Williams, and, those guys. Like I appreciated each and every one of them. So it was a easy, and like I learned this too. Sometimes if you don't ask questions, you never know. So I knew I wanted to get into coaching because I'm going into a different phase of my life, and training is a grind. Like it's just like, you talk to my wife, she talked about losing clientele, like losing business, like it's the same thing. And training, like and now it's way more trainers than it was when I started. So it's like I said, and I got kids, my daughter's about to go to college next year, so it's time to, make sure I provide as much as possible for my kids, because they in sports just like me. But I talked to the staff about a year earlier, and I was like, yo, if I decide to do a GA, like be a grad assistant, which is the lower tier, I was like, would you hire me? It was like, why wouldn't we? Why wouldn't we? And, I have to give them, like, especially, BP, that's what I call them, BP and Steve, for giving me the opportunity, because they didn't have to. I wanted to get my foot in the coaching, because I just wanted to not just be known as a trainer, it's a very bland title. I want to be known as a coach. And I knew what type of team we could have this past year. And, those guys were, so good to, and I forgot about Chad Pruitt as well. Those guys were able to, just let me, work the guys out, be a part of game plans, be a part of scouts. And, at the end of the day, man, God put you in different places to meet different people. And to say my first year in coaching, I got to go to the Final Four was like,
It's crazy.
it was God. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, it's not me at all. Like I did my part. And, God just opened that door. And, I hate we didn't win. But, my best friend, like my brother, he coached for Florida, Jordan Talley. And it's crazy, like, we were both at a crazy point in our lives where, he almost gave up coaching and he slept on my couch.
Wow.
And I told him, like, you can't give up, bro. So, to lose to him, it was cool because my brother won. But at the same time, man, like, BP and Steve and all those guys were very gracious to give me an opportunity and to start high-level Division I. I'm 40 years old now, so a lot of GAs are very young. Like they're not my age. And they gave me the opportunity to come in, make an impact. And they've helped me get to my next spot. Like you just said, I'm able to go head coach Antoine Petway. Me and him grew up together, like in Selma. Played with my cousins, so we've known each other since I know him since I was a little boy. So he's like 3 years older than me. And, when it came for an opportunity, we talked about it. He's like, yo, I got an opportunity for you. And what other people don't know was, another big word is sacrifice. My pastor talked about this today, sacrifice. I was driving 2 hours from Atlanta to Auburn.
Wow.
And, I never moved. And he had a spot open. He called me and was like, yo, I got a spot for you. If you want it, we'll be glad to have you. You'll be able to, do all the player development, be able to be a part of everything here. And, I couldn't turn it down. I got to be back home. So, but, both coaching staffs, man, like I'm appreciative of them, giving me the opportunity. And, now it's time to, continue to keep moving up in the coaching ranks. So,
Yeah. So talk about Kennesaw a little bit as well, man. And what are your plans there? Or as much as you can share.
Yeah. So basically, man, it's, we have a great staff. Antoine Petway, very fiery head coach. It's funny. One of my best buddies was Amir Abdul-Rahim, who passed recently last year. And it's funny, I get to work at the school that he actually coached at. And, Pet, like fiery guy, down to earth, like people love him, hard nosed. We all from the same area, so I know him. We got DK Donovan Cates, Jamie Baker, who's over, he does the film and things. Philip Pearson, who has a lot of experience coaching. He recruited me out of high school as well. And then Chuck Davis, like I told you, we grew up together. So, being around those guys, and Willie Watson, guy that worked his way up, started at Bama, coached at Marion Institute, where my daughters are from, like where they're from. So, man, we have a really good staff, and the thing is, I come to win. I'm used to it. I was at Auburn, I was spoiled, so won the SEC, and then eventually went to the Final Four. So, just making sure that we are a representation of the university. Because Kennesaw State is growing.
Yeah.
Like I think it's like the second largest public institution in the state.
Yep.
So it's growing. Mary did a great job taking them to the NCAA tournament, which would, that's what we want to do, take them to the NCAA tournament and win Conference USA. And, man, I just want to win. And then also, I actually like college coaching, even though, eventually I get to the NBA, but it's a little bit more personable on this level.
Yep.
Like you can talk to kids and, help them become better men, what they need. So, that's a big thing, and I'm heavily involved in a lot of stuff. So I'm just looking to win and put on for Kennesaw.
Yeah, man, it's good. I look forward to it, man, and coming to some of the games as well, which we talked about.
For sure,
So
for sure.
I'm excited for you, man, and congratulations on that journey, man, and being home as well. Like it's rare that the stars align like that, where you don't have to relocate, and go too far. And so it's going to be great. And I'm excited because, as you mentioned, Kennesaw State making a tourney and just seeing what you guys can do next year as well.
Yeah.
Rob, again, thank you for your time, man. My last question for you.
All right.
What do you want to share with your daughters, man? Is there anything from your story and or encouragement that you want to share with them?
Excuse me. Oh man. Basically, just share with them, man. Just, keep going. I'm sorry, bro.
No apologies needed, man.
You know, even when people tell you, you can't do it, keep going. Y'all got my grit. Y'all have y'all have my heart. Just make sure that, people, people say good things about you. I think that's one of the biggest things. Like, I haven't heard, a lot of people, tell me that I've helped people and changed a lot of people's lives. It's just about just making sure that y'all are impact to living, making sure that you both continue to, that your grandmother lives in both of you, that y'all be great women of society, man. I'm proud of y'all. I know y'all gonna be successful whenever you do. I just wanted to make sure I was a good father for both of you. And I hope I still, and I continue to be that. Continue to, support you guys. Continue to, just see y'all grow up, man. It's because I went through a lot. And I still do go through some things. But, by the grace of God, I'm still here and I'm able to see y'all grow up. And, I just want to make sure y'all don't have anything to worry about. Like my parents did for me. So, and that's basically it. Like I love y'all to death, and whatever Dad can do for y'all, that's what he gonna do. So,
Man, I appreciate you, Rob, more than you know, man. Thank you for the time. Thank you for the words, the wisdom, the advice, and that message as well, man. Because I think it's important, and it gave me chills. Because it's like I'm still in the early stages of raising these little ones. I got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, and very much just like in it, and seeing you on the later end where it's like, you took your daughter on a date yesterday, so it's like that's a big deal. And like you're doing a lot of this journey, man. You lost your mother at 25, so it's like you're figuring out a lot of this on your own. So I hope that man, that I'm super inspired by you. I know that many people that really tune into this will be inspired by you as well. So just thank you for the time, man. I look forward to seeing you this year at Kennesaw State. It's been the time, man. But I appreciate you.
Appreciate it. But before I go, I have to, because I would be remiss if I didn't do it. I have to thank my wife too. Don't get mad. I left my ring at home, so don't be mad. But just like I told you before, God is always good, and I always knew I wanted to get married again, you know, I was able to meet her last year around this time, and you know, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. You know, so I wouldn't have met you if it weren't for her. So she's been a, you know, big help, great stepmom. You know, just being somebody that I can lean on when I don't have the energy. So, and I know you know that with being married yourself, but I would be remiss if I didn't give Christina Canoe Allen a shout out before I got off here and tell you I love you and I thank you. So,
Great, man. Listen, thank you, Rob. Thank you, brother.
appreciate you.
Let's rock and roll this year at Kennesaw.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
All right. Appreciate you.